we are going to move through 60 minutes of movement. I have got a couple of blocks. If you want to use them, that is totally up to you. They're not necessary for class, but we will be doing triangle pose, and you might want to have that down on the ground to support your hand. And I've got a cushion to sit on as well today. I think that's probably all you need, a glass of water, and look after yourself. As per usual, everything in class is an invitation today, so only go as far as you need. And if you need support with anything, feel free to unmute yourself and just ask, or you can pop something in the chat and I'll keep an eye on that as well. I have already put the playlist for today in the chat, so pop that on in the background if you want to. I won't play music from my computer because it kind of distracts from my voice a little bit. So yeah, if you are ready, let's make a start. We're going to start seated today. If there's something more restful, then please do go ahead and take that. I'm going to switch to my main camera so you can see me. The cat might disappear, but there is also a cat in the background at the moment. So yeah, hopefully she'll disappear at some point. Or maybe she'll stay. We'll see. So let's set ourselves up for our practice today. So maybe in a cross-legged position, you might want to sit kneeling or anything else comfortable. We're just going to spend around 5 minutes here, grounding into our surroundings and doing a little bit of breathing as well. So I'll let you all get set up. You're welcome to keep your cameras on or off, totally up to you. Great. You'll see I am also sat on a cushion, so sometimes it helps to be a little bit raised up when you're sat for a longer time. So if you want to sit on a block or a cushion, please do. Friends, you're welcome to find a knee or any other comfortable position. When you're there, maybe closing down the eyes, maybe just letting the gaze lower. Let's see if we can begin to notice how our body is doing today. And maybe we take a moment to see where our attention is drawn within the body. Maybe there's a slight discomfort somewhere, or maybe you've been sat at your chair or your desk all day, and your back is feeling a little bit sore or vulnerable, or just creaky, and you're welcome to give your body a little bit of a shrug or a wiggle, and then coming back to stillness. Noticing where your seat bones are connected to the ground below you, to your mat. You're welcome to come along with me. We're going to do a bit of Ujjayi breath. You're welcome to stay with your everyday breath. If you haven't done this before, there's 2 options, but we're going to go with one, and then I'll add the other one in if you want to do that as well. So with your eyes gently down or closed, let's close the mouth. So starting by taking a slightly longer inhale and a longer exhale through our nose. Just seeing how this feels. And then from here, seeing if we can bring a sense of the throat kind of contracting at the back. So we're drawing the air through our nose and then down through our throat to our lungs. And this might bring that sound, that kind of hissing or like wave, like the ocean, as you breathe. It's almost as though you're pushing and pulling the air through your throat. If this feels good for you, you're welcome to stay with this breath. Or the other option is to continue with the inhale through your nose and exhale through the mouth. Still contracting the back of your throat. This might bring a bit more noise to your breath, and that's totally okay. So either of these two options, whichever feels best in your body today. Grounding down through your hips, through your feet. Maybe on your next inhale, your torso rises slightly. Staying with this breath for a little bit longer. And if you'd like to work with intention today, maybe thinking about this as you breathe. So perhaps something pops into your mind. Maybe there's something you're working on in your personal life or your yoga practice. Maybe you'd like to dedicate your class to somebody. That one can be you, or it could be someone in your life, or a pet. Just giving yourself a moment with whatever that intention is. Allowing your breath to move through you smoothly. And as we begin to leave our breath practice behind today, you're welcome to bring this kind of ujjayi feeling breath into the practice at any point. So there's various moments when we pause for stillness, and sometimes it can be really nice to just come back to that breath. For now, on your next exhale, bringing yourself back to your everyday breath. Just take a few movements through the neck and shoulders to begin with. So beginning by dropping our left ear down to meet our left shoulder. So we're stretching out through the right side of the neck here. And if you want to, you're welcome to take your left hand up and very gently place it on top of your head. Not applying too much pressure here. 2 more breaths. And then if your hand is still on your head, releasing your hand, we're going to turn our gaze from where we are and just twist our head so gaze comes down to armpit. So just finding a slightly different stretch along the back of our neck. Let's take 2 deep breaths here. And then slowly rolling our chin back down to center. Let's shrug our shoulders and come back up. Maybe let's do that on the other side. So right ear comes down to right shoulder this time. Holding here for a couple of breaths. And if your hand is up over your head again, letting that back down and then twisting your gaze towards your armpit. 2 breaths here. And then let's slowly roll our head down to center. Breath here. And then slowly stacking our head back upright. Let's take some shrugs through the shoulders. So kind of moving how you want to here. Maybe it's one shoulder at a time, circling around. Maybe both shoulders come up to the ears and then sink back down. Just waking up those joints around our shoulders and our back, our chest. Maybe you are bringing your arms in as well. It's completely up to you. Maybe there's a gentle sway from side to side as you do this. Awesome. And then coming back to stillness. On an inhale, let's rise our hands up. So reaching wide and to the sky. And as we exhale, let's bring them back down. So moving with your own breath. Let's do this a couple more times. Inhale, arms reach high. Exhale, arms reach wide and then down. In your own time. Next time your arms are up the top, let's take a pause. We're going to do twists here. So bringing your left hand down to meet your right knee first. Right hand can land on the ground beside you, perhaps just behind your hip. And seeing if you can sit up nice and tall through the chest here. Maybe there's a gentle twist to the side. Looking for that opening in the chest. Crown of the head tall and lifted, and then twisting over to the side. 2 more breaths here. Maybe sitting up tall with each breath, and maybe there's a little bit more of a twist with each exhale. And then as you release back through to center, lifting the hands to the sky. And then exhale, let's find that twist on the other side. So right hand comes down to left knee, left hand beside or behind. Lifting through the chest and twisting to the side. Your gaze is welcome to follow the back hand. 3 deep breaths here. And then as you untwist, let's take our hands to the sky 1 more time. And as we exhale, bringing both hands to the mat in front of us. So as we do this, we begin to bend forwards, but not coming too low. So maybe propping ourselves up quite tall here, finding a very gentle version of a forward fold. And maybe your chin tucks. Holding there. From here, either rolling over your knees or taking your feet to one side, and we're going to find our way to tabletop. So I'm going to roll over to one side, setting yourself up for your tabletop, moving any props out the way if you were using one. Just going to make sure the door is shut. Let's find our tabletop. So palms are directly under our shoulders, knees directly under our hips, and toes are untucked here. Maybe let's pick up each hand, spread our fingers super wide, and then place them back down. Awesome. Let's move through some cat-cows. So dropping the belly, curling the tailbone up behind us, and looking forwards, seeing if we can find that opening in the chest again. And as you exhale, we're going to drop the gaze between our legs, arching through our upper back. Tailbone tucks under. Let's move through these 2 points, finding our cow, gaze forwards, belly drops, and then finding your cat. Gaze back behind, arching through the back, trying to find lift through the shoulders. Moving with your breath. So doing this in your own time again. I'm going to come through these, let's say 3 more times. You're welcome to bring in any extra movements here. Perhaps you take a little bit of a lean forwards and a lean backwards as you do your cat-cows. Anything that feels good to wake up the spine and all those muscles that surround us and support us every day. Awesome. And then finding stillness in our tabletop. Let's see if we can engage through our abs and our glutes and take the right foot behind us. So toe stays tucked under. And then before we lift our leg up, let's engage those glutes first. So squeezing the glutes and then lifting the leg. And maybe you stay here, or perhaps the left hand also reaches forwards. Reaching through fingertips and toes here. 2 more breaths. And then slowly releasing everything back down. Maybe it's a little bit of a side wiggle. And let's try that on the other side. So left foot this time goes long. Engaging through your glutes before you lift, and then lifting the left leg. Maybe the right arm lifts too. Holding 2 breaths. And then releasing everything back down to center. Let's give those hips a little bit of a wriggle. Awesome. Let's find our downward dog. But before we get there, let's tuck our toes under and let's lift our knees ever so slightly. We're just looking for about 1 inch, maybe 2. Hover the knees. Hold. And gently lower back down. Let's do that twice more. So inhale. Lift the knees. Exhale, drop them back down. And if this isn't for you, that's totally fine. 1 more time. Inhale, hover those knees. Exhale, dropping back down. Let's roll back onto our knees. So kneeling position, and just give our wrists a little bit of a rest. So twisting through the hands. Maybe making fists and then stretching wide. Maybe giving them a little bit of a gentle touch for yourself. Awesome. And then coming back down to our tabletop. Let's tuck our toes under and let's find our first downward dog. So pushing hips to the sky from here. Great. Hips to the sky, maybe bending through your legs, warming up the hamstrings. Maybe there's a sway from side to side again. Staying there, stretching out, finding your downward dog today. And then maybe you find some stillness in your downward dog. That looks great. Let's take 3 deep breaths here. And you're welcome to bring that Ujjayi breath back. And then looking to the top of your mat and slowly walking your way there. Finding your forward fold. Maybe taking hold of either elbow. Making a little ragdoll here. Giving the head a shake from side to side. The feet can be together or maybe hips width distance apart. And then releasing the elbows. Let's roll all the way to standing. Finding our mountain pose. So again, just checking in with your feet for a minute. Sometimes it feels good to have your feet together in mountain. I tend to prefer to have mine hips width distance apart, but that's totally up to you. So seeing what works for you. And then wherever you are, let's tuck the tailbone under. Let's lift up through the chest, opening here. Shoulder blades kind of pinching back behind us. Palms of the hand can face the front. Let's find a gentle tuck of the chin. And move through a couple of sun A's here. So I'll talk you through the first 1 or 2 and then move at your own pace if you know what you're doing. So inhale, arms to the sky. Let's exhale and find our forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins, finding your halfway lift. Head of the crown reaching towards the top of the mat. And then as we exhale, we're going to fold back down. Stepping back to our high plank to begin with. And let's all drop the knees down. Back. Let's find the mat. So tight shoulders and elbows into your sides. Lifting, lowering the chest first. Finding the mat. Palms directly under your shoulders, and let's lift the chest. 1 breath here. And then as you exhale, lower back down, tuck the toes under, and push back to your downward dog. Awesome. Deep breath here. And then looking towards the top of the mat and finding your way there. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And then on your next inhale, let's reach all the way to extended mountain. Hands can come together if that's comfy. And then let's do that again. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Step back to plank. Either staying up here, dropping the knees, lowering the chest and finding the mat. Baby cobra, chest lifts. Exhale, back down. Tuck the toes under. Push to your downward dog. Awesome. Catch your breath. This time, as you look towards the front of the mat, maybe coming up on your tippy toes and then finding your way there. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And then on an inhale, let's rise all the way to extended mountain. Hands to heart center. Let's do that one more time in your own pace, with your own breath, or moving with me if you prefer. So inhale, reach high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, place the hands, step to plank. Coming through chaturanga, dropping the knees if you would like to. Chest comes down to the mat. Finding a back bend of your choice this time. So either stick with what we've done, maybe finding your up dog. And then as you exhale, lower back down, tuck the toes, find your downward dog. Toes all the way up, looking to the top of the mat, and then finding your way there. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And on inhale, all the way to standing. Hands come to heart center. Let's take a pause. Checking in with your breath. Maybe finding that Ujjayi breath again. Noticing any warmth that you've built. Awesome. Looking good. Great. Inhale. Let's rise. Extended mountain. Exhale. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And then this time, as we fold, we're going to step to our downward dog. Awesome. Let's take our left leg to the sky first. Finding a bend through the knees so your heel comes back to your glute. And then let's maybe draw some circles with that knee. Opening up through the hip here. And then finding your three-legged dog again. We're going to bring our knee to chest and then foot all the way to the top of the mat between our hands. Let's drop the back foot at 45 degrees. Gentle neck bend through the knee and then lift up to warrior one. Checking in with your feet here. So left toes pointing forwards, back toes 45 degrees, hips facing the front of the room. You're welcome to inhale and reach high. Maybe you can sink a little lower. One more breath here. Then hands come back to our hips. And let's use our hips to guide our hips back as we straighten through the front leg. Awesome. We're going to find our triangle pose or Trikonasana. So pivoting from the hips, chest comes down forwards. And then from here, we're going to drop, the left hand comes down. This is where you can grab your block if you want to. You can pop it on the inside of your foot. Hand either to block or to the floor. You can even pop your hand on your shin if you don't have a block. So you're twisting to the side, and then the right hand peels back, reaches for the sky. Gaze either follows those top fingertips, or you can look down towards your foot. So seeing if you can find lift through that top shoulder. Awesome. Almost as if someone is pulling your fingertips up. Looks great. Fab. And then from here, let's bend first through that front knee again. Hand drops all the way to the mat. Both of them frame the front foot. We're going to come up to our low lunge. So the heel on our back foot just lifts ever so slightly. And then from here, we're going to step back to our side plank. So right hand grounds down, and then our left foot steps back. Switching over to the side, hand reaches for the sky. You're welcome to bring your knee down. Totally up to you. One more breath here. And then wherever you are, let's take that top hand back down to the mat. Find our plank. Either dropping the knees down or coming down through chaturanga. Finding the mat. Back bend of your choice. As you exhale, tucking the toes, finding your downward dog. Looking to the front of your mat, hop, step, walking your way there. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And on an inhale, let's rise all the way to mountain. Extended mountain, hands to heart. Take a pause. Let's try that on the other side. Inhale, extended mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Stepping back to our downward dog. This time, right foot reaches for the sky. Bending through the knee, dropping the heel back down to your glute, and then taking some circles with that knee. Engaging through your glutes here, through your abs. Really working all of those muscles, and then bringing your knee through to chest, foot through to the top of the mat. Dropping the back heel, setting yourself up for warrior one. So coming up, bending through the front knee, back toes at 45 degrees. You're welcome to reach for the sky. Deep breath. Maybe sinking a little lower. That's great. And hands sweep back down to your hips, and almost as if you're pushing your hip back and straightening through the leg. Front leg straight. Fab. Pivoting from the hips. Let's lean forwards. Chest comes down, and then we find that twist. So opening to the left side this time. Hand finds the mat or your shin or a block. Left hand reaches for the sky. Maybe giving us a wave on your camera. One more breath here. And then bending through the right knee. Let's take both hands to the mat, lifting the back heel, and then stepping back to side plank on the other side. Maybe your hand reaches for the sky. Maybe your knee comes down. One more breath. And then both hands come down. Let's find our plank. Dropping the knees, dropping the chest, finding a back bend of your choice. And then let's all meet in child's pose. So either knees close together, maybe your knees a little bit wider today. Hands come forwards, lowering the chest down. I'm going to stay here for about 10 breaths. You're welcome to grab a little water. I've started to build quite a lot of heat already. Maybe coming back to the Ujjayi breath. In through the nose. Drawing the breath back down into your lungs. Awesome. Let's slowly rise back up, finding your tabletop, tucking your toes under, finding your downward dog, and then finding your way to the top of the mat. Staying in our forward fold, just for a tiny bit longer again. And then from here, let's brush the hands back and then sweep them forwards, touching the ground, finding our chair pose. So knees together, hips come low. Your hands are welcome to stay at your hips, your heart, or go high. Seeing if you can squeeze through the glutes and tuck your tailbone under. Engage through the core. Maybe drop a little lower. Awesome. Let's look down at our feet. I'm going to bring my hands to heart center to do this. You're welcome to stay where you are. Coming over onto the right side. So we're transitioning our center of gravity over to the right. And let's gently pick up the left leg. Maybe hop it back down. See how that feels. And then this time, let's lift the left leg. Let's push our heel out behind us. Torso comes down. So we're finding our warrior three here. And you're welcome to reach forwards or stay exactly where you are. 2 breaths. And then hands come to the mat, maybe coming through half split. So kicking that leg high and then dropping slowly, bringing your foot back down to forward fold. 3 breaths. Let's sweep our hands back up to chair. And let's do that on the other side. So this time we're going to guide our center of gravity over to the left side. Maybe lifting through the right leg. Knee can come up quite far. And then pivoting forwards, pushing your right heel behind you. Maybe reaching for the front, lifting through the chest. Awesome. And then wherever you are, dropping the hands to the mat, maybe lifting the leg real high and then slowly bringing it back down, finding your forward fold. Let's take our feet slightly wider, so just a little bit wider than hips distance, and turning the toes outward. So the heels are slightly closer in. Turn this way so you can see a little easier. Fab, that looks right. Awesome. And then from here, in our forward fold, let's drop our hips down. So finding your yogi squat or malasana, maybe shuffling around a little bit. It's perfectly normal for your heels to be off the ground here. And if it's helpful, you can pop a block under either heel or both heels. Fab. And maybe we bring our hands to our heart center. So elbow comes just on the inside of each knee. And then hands at our heart, and using our chest to open up and pushing through our knees. Maybe the hips drop a little bit lower. Great. A few breaths here. And then let's calm out. So hands find the floor to begin with. And then as we transition to forward fold, pushing the hips high. I'm just going to move back to the top of my mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, and then just slowly roll all the way to standing. Taking your time. When you get there, maybe there's a gentle sway, releasing any tension through those hips. A little bit of a dance. Maybe there's a shimmy. Cool. And then settling into our Uttanasana, our mountain pose. So feet together or apart. Hands face forward. Maybe the eyes close slightly here. Let's begin to close that heat back down. So cooling our body back down. Maybe there's a couple of deep breaths. On your next inhale, hands float to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And as you exhale, we're going to find our last downward dog. Ooh. Yeah, let's just raise the right foot slightly and then bring our right knee behind our right hand. Left foot kind of tracks up behind, right foot tracks up behind the left hand. So we're going to find pigeon. So dropping the back knee, untucking the toes, and then kind of setting yourself up. So your knee does not have to be parallel to the top of the mat here. You can have a good 45-degree angle. It really depends on your body type, your body shape. If you have your block, you can pop a block under your right glute. If you need to steady yourself a little bit, and then wherever you are, let's sit up quite tall to begin with. So again, we're finding that openness through the chest, in the heart space. And then if it feels comfortable in your hips, you're welcome to lower down. Again, if you have your blocks, you can come down onto those, or you can come down onto your elbows, all the way to your chest if that is comfortable for you. But if you feel any pain at any point, remembering just to ease back. Awesome. Give your toes a little wiggle. Is your foot still active, even though it's not doing much work here? Maybe your chin tucks under. Let's take 3 deep breaths together. And wherever you are, and slowly come back up. So hands just in front of you, and then dropping your center of gravity over to the right side. So we're coming through to our sit bones here, shuffling around so our legs kind of facing the long edge of the mat. We're going to find a couple of, well, one forward fold, but there's a couple of options. So you can either sit exactly as you are and find a wide-legged forward fold, or you can find any other variation. So perhaps the soles of your feet come together, or maybe you just want to have both feet long here. So whichever one works for you, and we will come back and do a second one. So there's 2 opportunities for a forward fold. I'm going to have the soles of my feet together for this one. It's really up to you, but whichever version you're doing with, let's lift up, lift the chest. Maybe the arms lift too, rising in our seat. And then using the chest to come forwards. Your hands can drop to the mat. If you're in your butterfly kind of pose, you're welcome to bring your hands to your feet. Maybe the head drops. Maybe the chin tucks. Let's hold here for 3 breaths. And then slowly using your hands to bring yourself back up. Your feet were together. Let's just take them wide and give them a little bit of a wriggle. And then we're going to transition round to the other side and find our pigeon on the other side. So taking our left knee to guide us, we're going to bend through that leg and then bring ourselves around. So right leg comes long, keeping, have the toes touched, but I prefer to have my feet down. Setting yourself up. And then when you're ready, maybe dropping down onto your elbows, wherever you end up, taking 3 breaths there. I'm going to stay up nice and tall. If you're down low, bringing yourself back up, dropping down onto your seat bones, back to the long edge of the mat. Let's find either the same forward fold that you took before or a different version. So I've got my feet wide this time. Up to you which one you do. Sitting up nice and tall, seeing where your pelvis is, maybe bringing your hands to your hips for a moment, and then tilting forwards from the pelvis, from the chest. Maybe the arms come up and then folding down. Only going as far as is comfy for you. Maybe wiggling into those toes and then making sure your feet are active. Maybe the head drops. Taking 3 deep breaths here. And using your hands to bring yourself back up through to center. Let's lift our knees out of that. Let's twist back round. Soles of the feet to the mat. We're just going to bring our hands back behind us for a moment. Your hands can be facing this way or this way. It really doesn't matter. And then let's wipe the knees from side to side. Awesome. Sitting up nice and tall. Take the feet slightly wider. See if we can sit up really tall here. Maybe our hands come around our knees as we do this. This can feel quite strong in the hips. And then bringing both feet together in front of you. Let's take the arms wide and then wrapping them underneath our knees. And let's drop our heads down. So we're stretching out through our back here, through our shoulders. Giving ourselves a big hug. And slowly releasing, bringing your hands onto your shins. You're going to roll all the way back to the mat. So you're welcome to skip this and come through boat pose, or you can come with me and let's just slide our hands up the shins to the knees and then slowly lowering as we continue to bring our hands all the way down to our hips until we release all the way to the ground. Pausing here. Taking our right knee into our chest and then taking the right ankle over the left knee here. So we're finding a figure 4 stretch, or a little bit like that pigeon we did earlier. Flexing through the right foot. And you're welcome to stay here if this is enough, or maybe you lift the left leg. You're welcome to hold your hands underneath your knee, seeing if you can keep your head down on the mat and relaxed. So we're not straining through the neck here. We're stretching through the outer thigh, the glutes, and the lower back. Two breaths. And then let's release that left foot, but keep ourselves in our figure 4. And then dropping everything over to the left side. So that right foot might come down and touch the ground. It might hover slightly off the ground. Either one, it doesn't matter. And then arms can either be stretched out alongside you, maybe reaching either side, or it might feel comfortable to hold either elbow above your head. It's really up to you. Gaze can stay on the ceiling or gently over to the right. Three deep breaths. You're welcome to check back in with that Ujjayi breath. And wherever you are, let's unravel those knees back through to center and take our right ankle off and back down to the mat. Pausing before we come to the other side. Noticing how that feels in our hips. And then let's bring that over to the other side. Shuffle over a little bit. So left foot comes up and left foot is over the right knee. Flexing through the foot, neither staying exactly where you are now. Maybe lifting, holding here. 2 breaths. Dropping the right foot down if it's lifted, and then letting everything fold over to the right side. Maybe those left toes just touch the ground. Seeing if you can keep your left shoulder on the ground here. So maybe that's easing off a little bit. Then your arms in whichever of those 3 positions or any other that you find comfy. 3 deep breaths. Slowly unraveling your legs, taking the left foot back down to the mat, pausing for a moment again and seeing how that feels in your hips, in your body. In a minute, we'll come to rest, to Shavasana. Picking any kind of last movements you might want to. You might just want to hug the knees into the chest and roll around on the bottom of the spine here. Maybe you find your happy baby, so taking hold of your feet and doing the same, having you roll around. Anything you want to do to finish your practice today. And maybe there's something a little bit more energetic in there for you. great. I can see so many of you choosing different things. Good work. Whatever your body is calling for. And setting yourself up for your final resting pose, whatever that might be for you. Looking for something where you can allow the body to relax. So maybe that is one of those shavasana with your legs stretched out long, hands come to the mat as well. You might like to find constructive rest, so taking the soles of your feet to the edges of your mat and letting the knees knock in together. Maybe there's something else that you find restful, can be on your side. Whatever that is, finding your way there. You're welcome to have a seated rest as well. Totally up to you. Making any kind of last movements that you want to. Wherever you are, maybe the eyes close. Maybe you draw the intention back into your mind that you set at the beginning of class, just for a moment. Let's take a gentle scan through the body. You are welcome to just tone my voice out if that is better for you. So if you're moving with me, let's start at the very tips of the toes. Drawing your attention to your toes, and if it helps, you can give them a wiggle. And then guiding that attention up over the soles of your feet to your ankles, to your shins and your calves, your knees, up over your thighs to your hips. Is there anything in your hips that's causing you discomfort? Maybe it's a gentle wiggle just to find that relaxation. Drawing your attention to your belly, noticing the breath drawing down towards your belly. Into your lower back, up your spine, to your shoulders. Maybe on the next inhale, just breathing up and then releasing as you exhale, and the shoulders maybe soften here. Let's draw our attention over to the left shoulder, the left arm, elbow, over the left forearm to the wrist. Drawing your attention across the palm of your hand and to your fingertips. And slowly bringing your attention back up that left arm to your left shoulder, and then traveling over to the right shoulder, down the right arm to the right elbow, the right forearm and wrist, over the palm of your right hand, all the way to your fingertips. Drawing your attention back up through the right arm, to the right shoulder, to the center of your chest, to the space where your heart is. Checking in with this area. Moving your attention up through the neck to the jaw, and maybe noticing if your jaw is clenched and just gently parting the lips here. Attention up over your cheekbones, your eyes, your forehead, and the very crown of your head. Maybe seeing if you can bring your attention to your body as a whole. Bringing super gentle movement back to your body. Maybe just turning the head from side to side. Maybe wriggling through your toes, your fingertips, allowing those movements to grow. Maybe your hands twizzle around, twisting through your ankles and your wrists. Maybe there's one of those super yummy early morning stretches. So your hands begin to reach up over your head, and maybe your feet stretch to one side, waking your body back up gently. Maybe there's a yawn in there. Or if there isn't one that comes naturally, let's see if we can open our mouth as wide as we can, as if we were yawning. Or maybe one comes. And then rolling over to whichever side you please. Pausing for a moment. And then gently, let's bring ourselves up to a seat. Taking your time. When you get there, you're welcome to bring your hands to your heart or maybe to your chest. Let's see if we can perhaps send ourselves a little gratitude. Taking the time to practice on our Monday evening. Moving our bodies together. maybe extending the gratitude to those that's practiced with you today. Even though we are still on Zoom, we are all practicing together. And then let's close our practice by taking 3 deep breaths. So inhale through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. Maybe there's a big sigh. Let's do this twice more. Maybe taking the biggest breath that you've taken today. Feeling the chest. Exhale back out. One more time. Maybe blinking the eyes open, letting your hands come away, just checking in with your surroundings. Maybe taking a look around your room at a couple of the things, maybe coming back to the screen.